What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Today we are over in Newcrest and I am building a small Craftsman style family home, and this is a very small home. It is on a 20 by 15 lot, but I actually was able to fit a decent amount of bedrooms in this house. So this house has only one bathroom, unfortunately, but that makes the gameplay kind of fun, you know? But there are 4 bedrooms in this house. So there are 2 parents, 1 or 2 parents, whichever you prefer. There's 1 bedroom for the parents. And then upstairs, there are 3 bedrooms for each of the children. And I actually furnished this for 1 child, 1 infant, and 1 toddler, I believe. But before I get much deeper into today's build, I would like to take a second to invite you guys to subscribe if you have not already, and also like this video if you happen to enjoy Craftsman style houses just like this and or family style houses. And comment down below what your favorite part of this build is. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get back into today's build. As far as Craftsman style homes, I absolutely love them. I love to build them in The Sims. They're so fun to do, and they're super cute too. And honestly, they're pretty easy. Like, if you're a starter builder, definitely go for a Craftsman style house that looks like this. It is so simple. You just put a couple of boxes downstairs and then put a box upstairs and put some roof on. The roofing may be the most difficult part of a build like this. You just have to use the half slanted roof, and forgive me, I do not know the actual names for these roofs. The only ones that I know is the gabled roof, which that is not part of this, I don't believe. Okay, so I know the name gabled roof, but I don't remember which one the gabled roof is, so forgive me. If you need help building this style of house, definitely let me know down in the comments. I could totally make a tutorial video showing how to build Craftsman style houses. I think that sounds so fun. So yeah, definitely let me know if that is something that interests you, and I will put it on my list. But another feature that I added in this house was like a little storage shed in the back. I actually built this house because I wanted to use one of the newest kits. It's the Restoration Workshop kit. I love the newest kit that came out. I haven't used the Elder Years or Golden Years ones yet. It's really just Create a Sim, and I have been very busy, guys, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But to stick on the same subject of the Restoration Workshop kit, I really wanted to use that kit in like a build and only use that in a build. So with that being said, this is only base game plus the Restoration Workshop kit. So if you have those 2 kits, definitely download this off the gallery if you like it. If you do not have, well, not those 2 kits, I guess I should say. If you have the base game plus the restoration kit, definitely download this off the gallery if you do think you like it and you would like to play in it. If you do not have the Restoration Workshop kit, this is mainly base game. Seriously, like there's maybe a few items in the shed and then a few in the kitchen that has the items from the Restoration Workshop kit. But other than that, it is completely base game. So if you only have the base game, definitely download this if you enjoy it. All of the items that you do not have will either be missing or replaced. And like I said, there's only a few items in this build, so you will not be missing very many. So if you do want to download this, this is currently available on my gallery, which is the same as my YouTube name, The Clumsy Simmer with no spaces, and my profile pic is the same on there too, so I should be easy to find. And I am going to try to keep the name on the gallery the same as the name on my YouTube channel, just to make it easier to find this build. Sometimes I'm bad about naming them different things, and I do not do that purposely. It's literally just by mistake. I usually make the YouTube video before I post it on the gallery, and then by the time I post it on the gallery, I kind of forget what I name it. And sometimes, to be totally honest, I'm too lazy to go look at what I named it on YouTube. So I try to remember it in my head, and it's not always the same. So just keep that in mind. But I do try very hard to keep the names consistent on both platforms. But as of right now, I am just designing the backyard to how I want it to look. There is not a whole bunch of yard in this build since this is such a small lot, but I did that purposely. I wanted it to feel very cramped, if you will. I know not a lot of people like that, but for some reason I love that in The Sims. I just do. And I do have a driveway here, and you see my sim there. I have her walking around to make sure she could actually get past the cars that are there. And then we have plenty of bushes and other landscaping around the house. And I absolutely love having the bushes on the left side of the cars like that, particularly with this lot, since this lot is right up against the sidewalk. I just really enjoy that. I do not know why. It makes it kind of look realistic, and also it gives the division of where the lot is versus where the sidewalk is. And so I do that quite often. I don't do it all the time. Sometimes it doesn't look as good as it does other times, but in this case I thought it worked so well. I also had a little bit of a difficult time deciding which other pieces of landscaping I wanted to use for this build. I knew I wanted to keep these bushes how they are. They're one of the hedgerow bushes. Not my favorite kind, but the kind that fits better in the smaller spaces. And I absolutely love to use the kind from Get Together, but since this is a limited pack build, I had to use what base game has to offer. And these would probably be my third favorite. They're not bad, but I don't know, I think it's the color that throws me off, or maybe just the design of it itself. I'm not 100% sure, but there's something that throws me off a little bit and I don't love it. But it happens to be the bush that fits the best in smaller spaces. So when I'm building these smaller houses, I kind of have no choice but to use those bushes. Luckily, they're not totally awful. They're easy to work with, let's just put it that way. But other than that, I also use some ferns around each of the corners of this house and the shed that's here. I love those ferns. They look so pretty and they remind me of my hometown or home state of Florida. We see those everywhere here, and I love them. And then I also use some of those like yellow bush, like floral bushes, and I actually sized them. Well, I kept them the same size and I lifted them up a little bit and I put them in some flower garden pots. And I love to do that to make it look like your Sims are growing those flowers there. Are they actually growing those flowers? No, they are not. But it kind of makes it look like that, right? At least to me, it looks like that. And here's the moment where I'm having a difficult time trying to decide what landscaping I want to use in that area. I almost use those really big, bushy, yellow flowers, but they were a little bit too big for this area, and so I did away with that idea, and I will come to that later. But for now, we are working on the floor plan, and while I am getting the floor plan together, I guess let me go ahead and explain to you guys what I was going to explain earlier when I was talking about the restoration workshop kit. I mentioned how I've been very busy lately, so let me explain why I said that a little bit. So I actually just came back from a cruise to Mexico and Honduras, and during that cruise my fiance and we got married. So he is now my husband. And we got married on Cozumel Beach at this resort / beach club called Mr. Sancho's. And oh my gosh, guys, when I tell you it was absolutely amazing, it was absolutely amazing. And I feel like those words aren't even enough to describe how beautiful it really was. And I was really going on a whim here, taking a chance, because, you know, I've never been to Mexico. This was the first time I've ever been to Mexico, and I for sure have never been to Cozumel, Mexico. Never really heard much about it, but it is a very, very popular cruise port. And, so I had high hopes. I figured, you know what? We can't go wrong with a beautiful beach in Mexico anyways. I mean, as long as it's a beautiful day, that for sure stressed me out the most, was the weather part of it. We planned this back in like July, and well, last July. So almost a year I stressed about the weather. And so when it was coming close and I was able to actually check the weather for like the 2-week forecast, I was so happy to see that there was no rain in the forecast whatsoever until I got on the cruise, and then they said that there was going to be a slight rain that day. So I was like, oh God. That was a little stressful, but it ended up being the most beautiful sunny day ever. It was a little bit hot, but it wasn't humid like it is here in Florida, so it was very tolerable. But, you know, I was wearing a big wedding dress, so I got quite hot, but I was having so much fun that it did not bother me whatsoever. And then my poor husband and poor father, I put them in a suit. It's like a tan suit, though. It was not black. But I felt so bad for them because of how hot it was. But they both told me it did not bother them either. But I still apologize for it. I'm like, oh my God, I shouldn't have made you guys wear the suit jacket. I didn't think it was going to be this hot. I don't know why. I just wasn't thinking, I guess. But yeah, it turned out so beautiful though. Our pictures are so beautiful. It was such a great day and trip because we went on a cruise. So it ended up being a 7-day cruise. And we went on the Carnival Mardi Gras. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with cruises or not. This would be my 3rd cruise. It'd be my husband's like 5th cruise. And so, yeah, I mean, Carnival, you know, it's Carnival. If you guys know about cruises, then you know. But we had so much fun. I love Carnival. Certain people have certain opinions on Carnival just because it's more of like a party ship, but from my experience, if you go on the longer cruises, you won't have that party crowd, if that makes sense. Like a lot of the people that are looking to party will just look for the shorter cruises where they like 3-4 night cruises and then they just party the whole time. We went on a 7-night cruise, so we didn't find a lot of like partiers, although it was a graduation cruise, so there was a lot of like graduates running around, so that wasn't ideal, but for the most part, it was okay. Nobody really got out of hand or anything. There was one time I was on the rope swings. Mardi Gras has like this rope course, not really rope swings, like a rope course that you can go through. And I did it. My husband did not. He does not like things like that. He was going to ride the coaster with me, but the coaster ended up being closed down, which is very unfortunate. It was one of the things I was really looking forward to. But I did ride the ropes course, and some of like, I don't even know if they were graduates or not, but they were for sure teenagers. They were like jumping up and down on the ropes, and it was making me so nervous. That might be because I'm old. Well, I'm 28, I'm not that old, but I do like safety, and that was against the rules, and so it was making me a little bit nervous, but I did get through it, obviously. I'm talking to you guys now. But yeah, I mean, moral of the story, I don't need to tell you about the whole trip. The wedding was just so beautiful. The water was like literally like turquoise aqua, so blue and so pretty, and it was just the best day ever, and I am so happy that we ended up doing that and that we decided to not do just a normal wedding. So a lot of people have asked me why I decided on having a destination wedding through a cruise line rather than having just a normal wedding here in my hometown. The main part of that is that honestly, I live in Plant City, which is basically Tampa. And all of my family live in Tampa, born, raised in Tampa. And to find a beach wedding venue in Tampa for, you know, a small group of people, I don't have a lot of friends, guys. It is what it is. I don't have a lot of friends, don't have a lot of family. I have a very close-knit group of people. And so I couldn't fathom paying $25,000-$30,000 for like a group of maybe 20 if we're lucky, if we add some random people in there. So it just made sense for us to do a destination wedding. And like I said, we were planning on just eloping, but then our family really wanted to be a part of it, and so they ended up coming too. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world. It ended up being so wonderful. The only one that I wish was able to be there that wasn't was my brother, and of course my grandmother, but she She is like 88 years old. She is not going to be able to go on a cruise ship. So, I mean, she wouldn't really be able to go to my wedding anyways, even if it was in my hometown, to be totally honest. She has Parkinson's and it just would be so hard for her to do. But I am bringing my wedding video and pictures over to her house this weekend to show her, and I'm super excited. But I do wish my brother was able to go. He was not able to go. He's kind of focusing on his new career, so I totally understand it. Not a big deal. We just really missed him, but he definitely would have came if he was able to. But yeah, I mean, so like I was saying, I get off on tangents, guys. I'm sorry. I get sidetracked. I get distracted so easily. But like I was saying, that's why we decided on having a destination wedding, and we love going on cruises, so it was like a no-brainer to book it through a cruise line. And I was looking at prices. I don't know, we decided on Carnival just because I've been dying to go on the Mardi Gras. And so we have now, and it was wonderful. I absolutely loved it. All of the workers that helped me along the way for like my wedding, the pictures, my dining experience, they were just truly amazing, and they really made the whole trip, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions about that, let me know. I'm not sure if you guys are really interested to hear more about it, but the whole reason why I'm telling you this is because I wanted to explain why I've been absent for like about a month. I was just really closing in on the final details for a couple of weeks before the cruise, and now we've been back for a whole week. So I'm kind of getting back into the swing of things, and you should be able to expect 2 videos a week from now on. I really hope I will be able to give that to you guys. I hate not showing up, on the days that I should be posting, but life does get in the way. But yeah, for now, you should be able to expect me to post twice a week, and typically it'll be Tuesdays and Fridays. Unless I miss a day, then I might do it the next day, but pretty much Tuesdays and Fridays. Alright guys, now that we have story time out of the way, we can finally get back into our build that we are working on. So as you can see, we have made it quite a far way in the whole time I was telling you my wedding story. So, the outside is a basic Craftsman home. I really wanted to make this a smaller house, but have a relatively large family on the inside. And so you are going to notice that it is a little bit cramped on the inside, and that is done by design. So we have, I'm not sure if I told you this in the beginning. I think I did, but I'll just say it one more time. So we have the 2 parents here in this bedroom, and then upstairs we have rooms for 3 of their children. And obviously, you guys, if you end up downloading this off of the gallery, then you will be able to rearrange these rooms however you want them to be. I ended up furnishing the upstairs children's rooms for 1 child, which I kind of was thinking was for a boy, and then 1 infant and 1 newborn. So this is a relatively young family. This is a young couple with 3 kids that they're pretty much just starting their lives. They finally brought home their last child. They have been dying to have 3 children ever since they got married. That was their dream, was to have 3 children. And they finally brought home their final baby, and they feel like their family is complete. And so, yeah, Dad's gonna do what it takes to not have any more kids, if you know what I mean. Luckily, it's an easy fix here in The Sims. You can just go into Create a Sim and say, cannot get anyone pregnant. Or cannot get pregnant if it's for the female. Yeah, so it's so easy. You don't have to have any surgeries or anything like that like you do in real life. But yeah, this family is so happy. This is their kitchen, and I wouldn't say that Mom necessarily likes to cook, but she really likes to provide for her family and make her kids their favorite snacks. And so I tried to reflect that in the kitchen. It's a very small kitchen, but big enough for their family. And I actually put a homemade pie right there in the windowsill. I thought that was the cutest thing. I don't know why I did that. I thought of that as I was playtesting because I had Grandma here cook a meal to see if the kitchen was working like it should. And I made her make a pie, and then it just dawned on me that people in cartoons, they let it, cool off in the windowsill. And so I thought it was kind of cute to do that here. So I did it. And then, oh, since this is with only the base game and the restoration workshop kit, everything in the kitchen, all of the appliances are from that restoration workshop kit. So with that being said, that leads to the dad of the situation. Wow. I have such a way with words sometimes, let me tell you. But yeah, the dad of the family, I should say, he is really into woodworking and restoring old objects, and that's actually what he does for a living. So they typically go dumpster diving and they get the really old, broken appliances, and then dad takes him to his shed in the backyard and he restores them. And he's really good at it. Like, he makes a living from it. So of course he's good at it. And it's so cost saving for them. Like, it saves them so much money. They can spend other places, whether it be a vacation for their family, or maybe they put some money away for their children's future so that they can go to university. And yeah, it works for them, and that is dad's hobby. It's his passion. And so it's really good that he's able to make a career out of it. That's like everyone's dream, being able to make a career out of your passion. Then it doesn't feel like work. It's like fun, and you can make a living off of it. It's great. I really wish that for everybody, to be honest. But as far as the mom goes, she's kind of just like a stay-at-home mom. Like, she is all about her family, and she's like that by choice. It's not like she has to be like that. There's plenty of people that love to be stay-at-home parents. There's nothing wrong with that, as long as, you know, you guys can afford it. And luckily, dad is so good at restoring objects that he can afford mom to stay at home and fully take care of the kids as they deserve. And honestly, I feel like it's so good for a parent to stay at home with the kids if they can / choose to. It's so good for like kids' development to have a steady parent there to really make sure, you know, they eat on time, they go to bed on time, they do their homework, they're there to help with homework if needed. I mean, I could keep going on, to be honest. So I am a pro supporter of a stay-at-home parent. Really doesn't matter if it's a male or female, whatever works for your family works for your family. But yeah, it's so good for like kids' development to have like a steady parent at home, to be honest. I mean, that's my opinion. I hope I can do that for my child. If not, then I hope I'm in the position where I can at least, you know, have my mother come over and she's my child's constant. At least that's a grandparent, you know, some sort of adult there. I just really, I don't trust daycares. I'm sorry, that might be controversial. I've seen so many bad things and I just don't trust them. I really don't. Just like the same with nursing homes. My parents will never go to a nursing home, or my grandmother for that instance. I will make sure someone takes care of my grandmother. If it's not me, then it's got to be someone that we trust, because I've seen so many terrible videos. But let's change that subject. We are now upstairs and I am working on like this little hallway that's here. I really did not know what to do with this space. It's kind of one of those spaces that you could literally do anything with, but we did not have a computer anywhere in the house. I don't think I even have one in the parents' bedroom, to be honest. Probably not. It's a very small house, so I don't think I could fit it anywhere. So this spot was the perfect spot for it. I love placing computer desks in like a hallway, especially if it's by like the staircase. There's always a random hallway by the staircase. It just happens that way, and so that's always the perfect space to put a computer desk. And I also put like a bookshelf there and some plants, a rug. I really try to make it look pretty cute. Remember, this is only the base game and the restoration kit. So for the most part, everything else is base game only. So we will have selective decorations and selective beds and stuff that I have to choose. You might see I use these all the time. But I build a lot of base game, and base game has slim pickings. Once you build, you know, 5 houses, you're pretty much going to reuse the furniture you've used already. That is the sad thing about base game. I really try to switch up what I use, switch up like the themes of the bedrooms especially. That helps a lot. My go-to is like, for some reason, the solar system in a kid's bedroom. I don't know why. So I try to switch it up. Sometimes I don't even put a theme and I just make like a color the theme, if that makes sense. I really try hard to change it up. This infant's room though, honestly, I think I did a pretty good job of making that room pretty different. So I tried to make this crib look like it had like almost princessy vibes, where it had like a tapestry over the crib. Obviously I can't do that without having some sort of like, it's not, oh, a canopy, that's the word I was looking for. I wanted it to look like a princess crib with like a canopy over it, but we don't have canopies, so I had to use these curtains instead. And obviously it's not giving the exact vibe I was going for, but it's still looking super, super cute. And it's something I've never done before. So, and it does work, by the way. I did play test it. I guess the theme for this one is kind of princessy, but not, because it doesn't really look that princessy, but it's very pink and very purple, and I think it's super, super cute. I love how this nursery turned out. But with that being said, I do have to bring up the fact that this wall over here, right there, the back wall, I had the hardest time trying to figure out what to put there. And I think at the end of the day, I ended up leaving it blank, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you will barely see it anyways if you play with like half walls or all the walls down. You won't even see that it's empty. But if you play with all the walls up, if you can stand that wall being in the way while your Sims are walking around and you're trying to tell them what to do, then you'll probably notice that it is relatively blank. But I did try to find something to put there. I didn't want to just do something totally random that didn't make sense there. So I figured it was better to leave it blank than to put something that was not matching the vibe, if that makes sense. At least there is like a wallpaper there that has some sort of design. That's better than nothing, right? I mean, at least I think so. But yeah, I mean, that's the infant's nursery. It's super basic, but it turned out super cute, considering we only have the base game to work with. But we are finally now over into the newborn's nursery, and I wanted to keep this one kind of gender neutral, so I stuck with a yellow color. And this one is basic also, but I think that penguin wallpaper, I think that is so cute. I don't know why, but it's super cute. And yeah, I mean, we are basically done with this nursery, to be honest. Just yellow. I use this like yellow dresser, and I put random baby supplies on top of it to make it feel more lived in and more cluttered as I could make it anyways. And then of course we just have the bassinet over in the corner by the window, and I put a rug down. I mean, that's basically it. That's really all the newborn babies need anyways, and as you play you can add more stuff. That's kind of my idea with that. And that is officially it for the furnishings on the inside of the main house. We still have the shed to furnish, which is right there off in the corner. We are currently working on the backyard again. I took a little bit of a break on the backyard, if you guys do recall earlier. I had the hardest time trying to figure out how I wanted to design the backyard. But I'm glad that I ended up waiting for it until the last, because I think it turned out so good. It really matches the front yard with what I got going on there. I have these like, they're in the fence category, but they look like garden paths, not path stones. I don't know really the word that I'm looking for, but you know, the edge of gardens that people like, it's like brick they put on the edge of their garden. That's really the look I was going for. I'm having the hardest time trying to figure out the word to use for it, but you guys know what I mean. I'm kind of outlining where the bushes and the flowers are, and I want it to look very, very manicured. That was the ultimate goal. So Mom spends a lot of time out in her garden. She is a stay-at-home mom, so she needs some sort of hobby, and her hobby is working out in the yard. There's not a lot of plants for her to physically do and take care of gameplay wise, besides these two garden pots right there. Oh, and then an extra one over there. That's basically it though. All the rest she doesn't actually physically have to take care of technically, but we can pretend that this is The Sims 2 and she has to trim those bushes, right? But you know, a part of me is actually glad that she doesn't actually have to trim the bushes, because if you are familiar with The Sims 2, then you know if your sim does not go out there every day or every other day to trim those bushes, they get out of hand fast and there's weeds growing everywhere. And it's a lot for them to do if they have to work and then trim the hedges. I found it was more annoying than it needed to be honest. So I am actually glad that those bushes are not the same as The Sims 2, as in the care for it. That's the one thing I'll give The Sims 4 that is better than The Sims 2. That's probably the only thing. I don't know, there's probably more. I'm just a huge fan of The Sims 2, but if you're not new to my channel, then you know that. But anyways, we are now in Dad's workshop, and I really wanted to make it look used, obviously. And I put some buckets down, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, that your Sims can actually sit on those. Don't take my word for it, I did not play test it, but that was my train of thought anyways, that those are seats. If you've ever been in a man's workshop or a construction work site, then you know buckets upside down are for sitting. It's not for nothing else, it's for sitting. So I thought that was a cute little realistic touch to put there. And then I'm putting, a fan. No workshop is complete without a fan. And I'm not sure, I feel like that fan is functional. I don't know, I did not test it though. It should be. If not, that's a missed opportunity. But something that I do know is functional is that water heater that is there. And I'm pretty sure that it can break down, kind of like the for rent landlord maintenance, where like the water heater and stuff will break down, you gotta go fix it. The same for this. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same thing. But yeah, this is the build, guys. I really hope you enjoy it. Of course, if you want to download it, it is always on the gallery. Everything I build will always be on the gallery. My gallery is always linked in the description down below, and it's also linked in my main profile. If you still have a hard time finding it, just let me know and I will help direct you to the right place. But for now, it is my time to go. I really hope you enjoyed this speed build. Of course, if you did, please leave a like and also subscribe if you have not already. I appreciate each and every one of you guys so much. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day or night, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.